It's Franco Ucci, and welcome to Thursdays with Franco, where we talk about OCI capabilities, projects, and emerging trends. And with me here today, I've got my regular guests, Chris Spierings. Chris, how are you?
Hey, good. Thanks, Franco. How are you?
I'm very well. And Stuart, you're looking very fit and well. I think you're excited about what you're going to show us today.
Yes, lots of good stuff in store. So I'm looking forward to it.
So, can you tell us about what you're going to show us?
I am going to go through some of the platform AI services that are available. So I'm going to show you a few of the services, show you how you can test them out, and actually show you how you'd be able to run them from Apex quite easily if you want to give it a go.
Okay, let's get into it. No PowerPoint. Let's just get straight into it, Stu.
No PowerPoint, never any PowerPoint. So here we go. So that's me, just for those that care and want to join up. So the first place to look, I'm going to go straight into the console, dark mode. I don't know if you noticed that we'd enabled dark mode on console. Looks
That
very
looks
nice.
scary. It looks scary to me.
It's because if I put it on white, my complexion goes a bit scary. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the AI services. So I'm going to drop down in the menu to Analytics and AI. The first thing I want to highlight is everything I'm going to show you today is available in the Sydney or the Australia region. So for those in APAC, it's available in different regions, but today we're going to focus on Australia. So when I go to here, we've got these number of AI services over here. So if we have a quick look at the top of the page, it's probably because it's timed out, but we've got a number of different models here that we can use. This one in particular is the language service. So I want to go through one or two of these. Now, anyone that's seen our demos will have seen we use a few of these language services. We use sentiment as an obvious one, key phrases, named entity. So you may have noticed that we will have done a little bit of this in some of our demos. Now, in the console, you're able to actually give it a go. Now, I'm not going to busy type things in because no one wants to watch me typing. So if I just leave this code in here like this and then click on Analyze, what it does is it runs through most of those services that are available. And so it's giving me here now, because I've got it in dark mode, it's hard to see. So what I'll just quickly do is flick that back to light mode.
And can you increase the size of
I
it?
knew you were going to say that. I was ready for you on my other screen, but not this one. So I'll just quickly run that again. Okay, there you go. So clearly we haven't done our full work on dark mode yet. So it's telling me that it thinks it's English with a 1 out of 1 certainty. It thinks that the text is around computer, and you can read this yourself. And then it's picked out some named entities. We've picked out some key phrases. So again, this is really, we use this for one of our demos on the call center analysis, where we don't want all the fluff, how are you and all those sorts of things. All we want is the actual words that we used within that text. Sentiment, obviously with this one in particular, it's saying that it's pretty much positive sentiment. It looks for personally identifiable information, and a fairly new one was PHI, which is healthcare information. So it'll look for healthcare stuff. So again, this one's just a simple one where we just take text that we want to do some, and you can call each one of these services in isolation. So that's actually quite nice.
No, Stuart, if you can go straight down to the bottom again, you went through that pretty quickly.
Sorry, I
You
did.
you actually showed me how to use the PII and the PHI capability, and the harness here educates you that you can configure this, and like it's actually set up so you can actually mask this in 2 or 3 different modes. And once you've actually, yeah, you hit that configure, and you can actually decide whether you want to mask it or replace it with something or totally remove it with that capability. So, and then
Yeah,
once
that's a good point. Yeah, so I did miss that. You're right.
And once you know what you're doing, as you actually then showed me, I can replicate this functionality in my Python code or my P or SQL code, etc.
Exactly right. Yeah. So I'm going to come back to that in a second. What basically, if you call this with an API, whether it's from Python or as I'll show you from Apex, here's the kind of responses you get. So you get this as a JSON. So then you can go and use that in your application. Now I've used the one you just said to do masking before, where I actually get a masked version of the response. That's obviously not that one, but this text here, if you ask for a masked version, it will have all those asterisks in or what have you too. So it's actually quite neat. This is over and above, obviously, anything you've got in the database already that does data masking, but it's actually done as part of the AI API. So yeah, I'll quickly show. There is a way to do some code in here. Text translation, again, same as if there's any French speakers, you can tell me how good or bad that is. But again, it will do lots of text translations into lots of other languages. So a useful tool. In fact, I've got a customer demo that I'm about to do that will have multi-language in Apex. So I'm thinking this is going to come in great use for that. So that one was the text models. One thing I wanted to highlight was that for named entity recognition, you can set up your own model. So we provide a pre-trained model, but you can set up your own model with your own words. So you go and highlight a Word document and you say whether or not these words are specific to, might be to your business, to your industry. So you can set up your own any named entity recognition models. So they would be custom models in this case. I'll just click on that one. So I don't have any available here, I don't think, but you can create your own. Now, and you basically add, yeah, okay, so I'm going to need to add a few more bits, but you basically add a document that tells you which are the named entity recognition. So that's quite useful then for being able to set them up in your own industry. And they're obviously all of these things are confined to your own tenancy and your own compartments. So that's
cool.
Yeah, that's very good. So one or two of the other services that we have in there, I just did a demo just recently with live speech. So we've got transcription jobs where you can upload an MP3 or a WAV file, and you can convert those from speech to text. My favorite, we just did a version of this, so I'm going to give it a go now, even with my dodgy accent. I'm going to give this live transcribe. So you ready? Hey, Franco. Oh, this could give permission to my microphone. Hey, Franco. Welcome to our Thursdays with Franco session, all about AI services. And I won't do any more. So that's me doing live. Now, I've just written a demo for a customer where we are streaming that straight into the database. And then what we can do is add those speech services back in. So you can then do the sentiment and all those sorts of things, or the masking, that sort of thing. So that's pretty cool.
Now, before you go off that,
Yeah.
I played with this probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I noticed medical is actually new.
Yes, so it will now recognize some fairly specific medical terms. It's pretty impressive that the set of languages it responds to is a little less, but it will actually pick up. Funnily enough, the use case I tried this with was medical, and the funny thing is that there's some specific things I can't even pronounce that the transcription was very good at. So that's a good one. That's a good one. So you set up a WebSocket for this one if you want to do it. The demo I have is with Python, but I'm working on a version that you can run in Apex to open up a WebSocket and do that live transcription. So
and it's got two models there. It's got what Oracle's been developing, and then it's got the open source Whisper model that's been fine-tuned.
Exactly, and it's so many more languages in here. In fact, it's not just languages, but it's dialects as well. So not Daleks, for those Doctor Who fans, dialects. So It's got lots of different versions of language here. So again, very useful for those that are, especially for global organizations, this stuff could be really helpful. We used it for live transcription and also call center analysis
Cool.
recordings. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to whiz on back into Vision. So this one again, anything to do with, we just launched recently video object detection, but I can do, I think it has automatic images in here as
Yeah, it
examples.
does. It takes a little while.
Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe, but what this does is it will look at images. It will do a classification to say what kind of image it is. I thought that this will give me a list one, two.
Maybe click on object storage and then click back.
That's local files. Yeah, it wants me to upload a file.
Well, maybe click on the image classification one. That normally.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably should have had an image ready to go. It used to have some images on the screen here that you just clicked on and it did the work for you. So that's a shame. I could probably find one. Let's open a Grand Prix one. That's Ucci. Let's open Ucci and see what it thinks. There you go. So it's detected that it's a sports uniform and clothing. It's telling me the request and response. The other thing, by the way, quite often this will give you the code. So if you want to play with the code, there's some Python, there's some Java if people are into that, as they should be. Just joking. But there's some code there that you can use to do that. So that's pretty impressive. Object detection, let's do the same image. See what it figures out. It's probably going to find okay, so it's pretty much, it spotted his shoes and it's put little squares over them, by the way, which is quite impressive. Face detection, well, obviously it's got a face in there, so I probably should pick on another image in a second, but I know these ones are, so the 97% chance that's a face. And then Chris, one for you. Text detection, let's see what, so you could use this one for number plates as an example. So let's see what it finds. So it should find the text in there. There you go. It's found all the fairly good. It's almost got Oracle right. It's because it's at a slight angle. But if you imagine that's a number plate, obviously it would pick that up as well. So that's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. So that's a great service. And you can do that now on videos. So that's fairly, I think we only just GA'd that just recently. But there are video detection. So it's not just standard images, it's actually videos now. And I think there's a live streaming we can do now as well. It may not be available in Sydney actually, but there's a live streaming one. Just in the interest of time, document understanding, again, this one, you can give it a document, and I haven't got one pre-prepared because I wasn't ready for that. But you can do, oh, there you go. So it's picked them up already. So this one's got a demo version in there, and that's handwriting that it's picked up pretty good. It's not too bad. You can do table extraction. So here's a document, and I know I'm going through this quickly, Franco, but so this one's picked up the table in this document here. Key value, so if it's an invoice or a statement of some kind, again, you can run these through. And again, you can always use your own projects in these with custom models, so you can specify some of the elements to go find. So I think that's some good examples, Franco. There's obviously plenty more to look at, but I think we'll stick with that. What I wanted to quickly highlight was the documentation. I know this is a surprise to everybody, but the documentation is actually pretty good. You're able to get quite a lot of information out of these, and obviously this is just giving me some information about the model, but then it gives me a bit more detail about codes and things to use, and it will give me the sample requests we can use. So if you want to do a JSON, like a Postman request, so it will give you the responses that you can expect. So I know people don't look at the documentation. Even if you put this into AI, like Notebook LM or something, you'll get some really interesting code and responses back on how to use all of those services that I've just shown you on the other page. Again, they're all pretty good. The APIs, so there's a whole section here on APIs and some how-tos and code and things like that. It's just the docs.oracle.com. I'm not going anywhere clever. I'm going to skip into some code, if that's okay, Franco.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So those that have seen a demo thing we call the Pavilion, we're going to show that another day, but I just want to show you some of the code. I've got a live SQL site behind that, which shows how we use some of these services. So in this case, what you can see here is I've got some PL SQL that runs through the database. It opens these call center chats, and it will send them to the key phrases and sentiments API. And so this code here, all you've got to do is add your own, or just tweak the endpoint to what region you're in and add your own credentials. And then you've got this API here that goes and sends that to the API for the AI service. And then what I'm doing here is updating, and I'm actually vectorizing the response. So that's a pretty simple way to do it in PL SQL. But one of the things that we're here to do is talk about Apex. So in Apex, even easier, you don't even need PL SQL. So what we do is we go to our REST data sources, and you can see here the 4 services that I'm using in my various demos. So what I've got is I've got the key phrases. By the way, the key phrases has changed. The sort of the language services since I built this, these still work, but they have changed. But just to show you, if I click on sentiment as an example, I've got my endpoint, I've got my gets and sets and all the rest of it. I've got a data profile, which is my request response. And what that looks like in the app is this. So I've got a button in this page. I've got some chat data that I want to send to that API. So my data is in chat, this field here. And then what I do is I've got an analyze key phrase, and sentiment was the one I just showed you, but I invoke the sentiment API. So literally invoke API, and which one do I want to do? The REST source is here, and then you'll see that I have got, so the key phrases one has got parameters in there. So there's my content, there's my response. So again, quite simple, no code way to call those APIs. Yeah, there's all there's a list of endpoints as well for those that in different regions for the language. So this document is all the endpoints.
Stuart, we've gone for 20 minutes or pretty close.
Sorry.
No, it's surprising how quickly time goes when you're having fun. So
Yeah.
let me wrap it up there. Thank you, Stuart, for a great tour of the AI cognitive services.